Hi everybody, welcome back to this video titled Connect Power BI. My name is Craig Kreskis and I am a partner solution architect here at Microsoft. Thank you for being a part of this video series and extending yourself to learn more about as many capabilities as possible to extend Business Central as a pre-sales engineer. This video is where I'm going to focus on connecting Power BI. I'm going to show you some other tips and tricks that you can truly highlight around the graphical nature of data analysis. So in the video, as you can see here, I'm going to show you how to connect Power BI. It's very simple. And then we're going to start to add some sample reports. I'll add reports from Business Central. We'll add reports from Power BI. I'll show you some other capabilities that, while they require a premium SKU, can really help you show the breadth of Power BI, and that's around the quick insights. And then I'll spend some time on just show you how to design new reports. Maybe if you're presenting to an audience of power users who want to get hands-on, you could show them things that they can do once Business Central is up and running. So let's start with just connecting Power BI to Business Central. You could do it a number of different ways. I'll show you the long way, and that's if you go into Business Central from the home page and it's the first time you've turned on your trial environment or your demo environment, you're going to see here the getting started with Power BI. Follow the wizard, and again, this is why I say it's the long road, because when you click on that link, it basically brings you to the Power BI website. So I've given you the link down at the bottom, and when you sign in, it's all you need to do is basically to authenticate that the license that you get of Business Central and Power BI is turned on. And again, just to clarify, you get a license of Power BI to read and report on data from Business Central. From there, I can come back into Business Central. I'll return to my wizard and I'll just follow the prompts, selecting next and then finish. Now, this from here, you can see I have the refresh selected. It can take anywhere from 20 to 40 seconds. And again, it's mostly authenticating the user to make sure that you do have access. And from there, you can see you get an item sales dashboard sample report. So that's how you can get started, just by connecting the two. Again, you could just take the long way or the shortcut. Now, let me show you how you can add data into your library and highlight ways in which you can get this information from Business Central or Power BI. The first way is from within Power BI. So I'm going to go to Power BI and I'm going to click on the apps and I'll choose Get Apps. And what this does, it opens up App Source. And from here, I can just do a quick search on Business Central. Of course, I can see there are other organizations who have created apps or reports. The second one that you see I have highlighted here is called Finance. I'll choose it, and you can see what it kind of looks like here. And again, notice there are other apps that we're producing that are coming from Microsoft for Business Central. I'll click Get It Now. I'll hit Install, and then you'll see here I now have that app installed. Now, if I click on some of the detail below and I start to drill down, notice you get a warning, and that is I'm viewing the app with sample data. You're probably going to want to connect this and get rid of this bar. So you just choose the connect, and it's pretty straightforward. You just have to enter in the company name and then the environment. So for the company name, if you're using the demo data, it's really straightforward. If you go into the company information screen on Business Central, or you probably know by now, and you could even see it somewhat soft coded in the dialog box here. It's basically Kronos USA Inc. with a comma after USA and then a period after Inc. And then on the environment side, just go ahead and remove the word sandbox. So basically what you see on your screen, on my screen, is what you need to do. I'll click next, and then don't worry about the authentication. Again, this is part of my demo environment, so I'm not so much worried about that. And now I have this, and this data is connected to Business Central. And I can take advantage of some of these other capabilities, as I mentioned, such as quick insights. So here you can see, again, this is a paid feature. In our demo environment, we have it for 60 days. And what the insight feature does, it helps users or decision makers easily explore and find insights such as anomalies, which I have on the screen here. And I'll show you the trends in a moment. But the anomalies and trends so that an end user can interact and consume the data from their report. So they're not just staring at a graph and trying to figure out what are the opportunities, what are our gaps in our business. And it notifies the user if there are interesting insights, and it just also provides explanations. And again, here, maybe you've got some different data, but you can see here I clicked on the anomaly and I see anomaly here in my cash cycle. And then you can collapse the anomalies and then you can see the trends. So I encourage you to, again, explore that and look at some of the demo data that you might be using already. The other feature I bring up, and I know partners have appreciated this in front of a customer, is that the opportunity for me to export this. So I can take my Power BI dashboard, my app, if you will, these reports, and I can export that into PowerPoint. And the beauty of that is then I can then show my decision makers that, let's say, for example, they're getting ready to go to a board meeting and they're meeting in front of constituents, to be able to take that data and present it in a PowerPoint slideshow, but also have it linked back to the report if they're connected to the internet. So just some ways in which you can enhance your Power BI and Business Central story. Next, let's talk about the reports you can get from within Business Central. And again, it's just you choose how you want to navigate this. But when I come here into Business Central, I'll choose the drop down. I'll hit Select Report. And again, notice the reports that I already have in my environment. If you click on the Edit List, that sample report that I brought over is now going to be available for me right here. And you have some navigation, some tools, capabilities. So for example, I can show this as a table. I could still do the Get Insights from here, and then I can hit Spotlight where it has the graph and then a small table down below. May not be the most optimal viewing experience, but again, I want to make sure that you know that you could bring that data from Power BI here into Business Central. Additional reports, I can hit Get Reports, and what you're looking for is services. And this is where I mentioned to you, again, you can see some of the other Business Central reports. So there's a sales, there's a CRM, and then this app usage I showed to partners because maybe you've got somebody from a technical background in the room and you're talking to them and you wanting to show them that they can install this usage app where they can get insights on how Business Central is being used. So you can see on the left-hand side all of the different reports that are included in part of this. Maybe, for example, I want to click on the feature usage. What are the features that have been turned on by the end users? Or again, looking on the left-hand side, how many views by page? The reports, all the integrations and the ISV third-party applications that are being installed. So that's a easy, simple way, again, depending on your audience, when you might want to highlight that Business Central usage report. I talked a little bit about quick insights, from the report side of it. There's some more you can use to, again, further build up your Power BI muscle. If you go and grabbing a report, so here's that top item sold. Grab that 3 buttons, the ellipsis, and you could run this quick insights to generate, again, this interactive visualizations that's based on the data. And quick insights can be run on an entire data set or on a specific dashboard title. So if I click on the quick insights, you'll see on the right side here, again, you see all that information that's being generated by the machine learning algorithms from Power BI to find insights in our demo data. So I hope that gives you some ideas again on just further building this up. And then sample reports. There used to be a lot more in years past, but I think as the capabilities have further enhanced, things like you see on the screen, maybe there hasn't been a need for sample reports. But if you want the one, click on apps, go ahead and select Get Apps, and you're looking for this Microsoft Sample Power BI, and it's the Power BI logo. So it's Microsoft Sample Sales and Marketing. Hit Get It Now, hit Install. And again, you get just another example of sales and marketing, maybe another example of what tiles look like. And while this is not directly tied to Business Central, maybe it just gives some additional conversation for you in your meetings. When you drill onto these, and I have a purposeful chart here, you get all the details, but notice that map, it says, is not enabled for my organization. So by default, There are some features in Power BI that are not turned on. And again, for full transparency, I want to make sure that you look great in front of your customers. I want to show you that there are going to be mistakes like this, but where to go and fix them. So under the settings, choose the admin portal. And nice thing is I can just type in the word map visual and it'll shortcut me right there so I don't have to go searching for it. And again, notice that this is disabled. So I enable that, I hit apply. It says it takes a few minutes, but I've noticed in all of my demo tenants, it's fairly quick. Then when I come back in to drill into the detail, notice that I have my graphical chart based on geography enabled and turned on. Now, the last step here is just to design some new reports. Again, depending on your audience, maybe you want to show them how simple it is to create a new report and it's connected to Business Central. So here I am on the report model, and notice with the ellipsis, I can take advantage of something called auto create now in Power BI. So the auto create will look at my data excuse me, and will automatically create a report based on that. So that's incredible, right? That's something you can highlight and just show them how these capabilities with Microsoft can meet their needs and requirements. And then on the right-hand side, notice I can add customer data. Here, notice I got all of my customers. So this is all Business Central data that I could drill into. And then when I come back into here, I can also create the report. So this is just a blank report. I like the auto create because it just gives me some ideas to get started. Whereas the blank report, it's tied to Business Central. You can see on the right-hand side all of my data. So I can just drag and drop that on the left-hand side. You can resize these boxes. So let's say here I have customer and unit sold, and I want a tree map. And then as I mentioned, you can resize that. And you get these little boxes, these kind of size boxes to auto size. Maybe in the next box, I have item number with quantity sold. Make that a clustered column. Maybe on the top right, I'll add a text box. Ad hoc sales report. I could drill into the customer and do what I want, right? So it's, again, really powerful, self-serve. But there's one more report I want to show. If I come back into the report, I showed you the auto create, and now I also have now in preview mode this explore this data, where I can grab the same data set and start to see it and determine, what does that visual look like? And so again, just a couple of ways in which you can start to highlight and again build the muscle with Business Central and Power BI. And yet I said there was one more, but there's Copilot and Power BI. Actually, I just want to show you where to turn this on. If you want to, like I did in the Excel and Business Central report video, I showed you a little bit more on how to use Copilot in Excel. I'm not going to do that on this, but if you do want to use a generative AI that allows us to create reports automatically, you come back into the settings in Power BI and go to the admin portal and then type in Copilot. You'll see here, again, by default in our demo tenants, this is disabled. I'll go ahead and enable that, hit apply, accept, and then that's available for you. As I've done with all of the videos in this pre-sales workshop, I wanted to highlight areas where you can see Power BI on display in demo. So if you want to incorporate your story based on how I demonstrate, I would tell you to go to visit in the demo playbook, the owner and the sales manager demos. So that concludes our Power BI and Business Central connected story. I showed you how to connect Power BI, how to add different reports, sample reports from Business Central, but also the quick insights and the sales or sample reports coming from the Power BI team. And then, of course, just the self-service on how you can auto-generate or start to drag fields and create your own reports. I want to say thank you so much for your time and being a part of this video series. This one titled Connect Power BI. My name is Craig, and I look forward to seeing you on the video again real soon.